Personally, I believe if you're gay or have sex with someone of the same sex, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine as long as they're not harming anybody else. Then it's okay.
Right.
Because so then, while God may say that Jesus may say that because I created man and woman to then procreate, I guess that's the end goal, the main goal. That is why.
That's part of it.
Okay, so that is one part of why
Right.
being gay is then wrong.
A university student steps forward with a question that stops everything cold. If being gay doesn't harm anyone, why would a loving God call it wrong? Cliffe, a Christian apologist speaking to a crowd of students, doesn't flinch. He grounds every answer in one unshakable premise. Without a creator, morality is nothing more than personal taste. But the student pushes back hard, arguing that labeling homosexuality as wrong, based solely on what God says, is no different from blind discrimination. Cliffe counters by turning the logic around. If morality is truly relative, then racism, rape, and every human evil become just a matter of preference. What starts as a question about sexuality quickly becomes a debate about the very foundation of right and wrong. Watch what happens next.
So, God sees that man is alone. God sees that aloneness is not good. And God creates woman to be a suitable helper for man. Man helping woman, woman helping man, within the context of a lifelong commitment, marriage. They enjoy deep companionship. Okay, that's God's ideal. I have twisted that ideal. Through my heterosexual lust, I have violated God's purpose. That is sin. Through my heterosexual lust, I have said, God, I got a better way of doing it. I like to have a vicarious thrill by lusting. Lusting is not the sex drive, okay? The part of me that says, wow, you're gorgeous. It's not lust. Lust is using a woman in my head to get a vicarious thrill. See, that's reducing a woman to a hunk of meat on a hoof. That's sin.
Okay, so you said yourself you're not 100% sure God exists, right?
Correct.
But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that He is. So would you not then? Personally, I believe if you're gay or have sex with someone of the same sex, that's fine. I think it's fine as long as they're not harming anybody else. Then it's okay.
Right.
Because so then, while God may say that Jesus may say that because I created man and woman to then procreate, I guess that's the end goal, the main goal. That is why.
That's part of it.
Okay, so that is one part of why being gay is then wrong.
Yes, sir.
So, well, then I kind of want to say, well, then I don't want to subscribe to something that believes in that, because I feel that someone that's born gay then has something very important inherent to them.
Yes.
Which for someone else is just then taken away from them.
Good.
And that seems a little unfair to me.
Okay, good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. All right, let's say that we're all heterosexual. Do you think that any of us was born with a heterosexual drive to have sex with just one woman?
No.
Thank you. Okay, so obviously what I'm arguing is just because I'm born with a certain drive to have sex with many women does not make it right. And here is the best argument for atheism. The best argument for atheism and agnosticism is, I don't want you telling me how to live my life sexually. And I don't want God telling me, just bug off. Whatever I want, I'm going to go for. That's the best atheist argument for me. Now, what Jesus communicates is, if we 11 guys have sex with just any good-looking woman we can get into bed with, that is going to harm ourselves and it's going to harm that woman. Instead, Christ says, we 11 guys need to learn to control our sex drive, to make a lifelong commitment to one woman, and to enjoy sex with her. But when we view a woman as a vat for our sperm, that is incredibly degrading, dehumanizing, it's sinful.
Maybe I'm missing something, but I kind of, both times you seem to have moved the discussion more to objectification of women. I want to see how that really answers my question about people being gay, about how that is then wrong.
Okay. The point I was trying to make is, in response to you saying, because we're born this way, it's legit, is to say, okay, you 11 guys, just because all of us, myself included, are born with a sex drive to have sex with as many good-looking women as we can, does not make it right.
Yeah, I get it. So you're saying because they're born this way doesn't mean it's correct. Okay.
Perfect.
But then I also have to say, we can, I think, unanimously agree that objectification of women is wrong because it is degrading. There is an actual reason why it is wrong. But by saying being gay, I haven't heard a reason besides God has told me so that being gay is wrong. A reason, does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. The majority of my gay friends are similar to the majority of my heterosexual friends in that they have many partners. Can we agree that having many partners is objectifying a person in a sinful way? Do we agree on that?
I would disagree.
They disagree. Why?
Why would I disagree?
Why would you say that me having many sex partners who are women, why would you say that's good?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's good. I wouldn't
Right.
say I'd be indifferent towards that, I guess. So
Indifferent, okay?
I'd say when you are married, then I would say yes, you should only have sex with your wife or a spouse.
Right?
But outside of marriage, if you're not married, then and not in a relationship, I should say, then because I believe that sex is more of a for the pleasure and stuff, not for the stuff, not for the I guess ultimately the main goal of
Right.
procreation, and then whatever else you mentioned.
Right?
Um.
Okay. Before you go on, I want to thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right? Obviously, we're talking about a very hot topic, but the way you conduct yourself, sir, I find incredibly refreshing.
Oh, thank you.
And I just wanted to say that before someone comes unglued and starts going after me, okay? Or you. Okay, I don't buy into that, okay? We're having a good discussion. We disagree. We respect each other. We listen to each other. Wow. What an honor to meet you and to talk with you.
Thank
Thank you.
Same as you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, keep going.
Okay, I think it was objectification of women. Yeah, we were
Yes.
saying. Yeah, I was saying that I believe that having multiple partners,
Yes.
saying you're not married or in a relationship,
Right?
is okay because, well, first, why do you believe it's wrong? You believe that you should only have sex with one person and that one person that you end up marrying, or I should say, you have already married.
Okay, good. I believe that Jesus and the Bible make a lot of sense when they talk about sex being a tremendous gift from God, but a very personal gift. It's a gift that's to be treasured. It's a gift that is not to be prostituted. It's not to be degraded by turning it into, well, I banged on her. I banged on him. That's objectifying, which means you're dehumanizing a person and turning him into an object.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes, please, go.
So I totally understand what you're saying. That like, oh yeah, I banged that girl, whatever, right?
Right.
You know, but I mean, I feel a lot of people do say when they talk about having sex with multiple people in that way. Yes, that is certainly objectification of women. But outside of that idea, just having sex with multiple people to have sex with more than one person.
Yeah.
Because I haven't, but I mean, I'm saying if I were to have sex with multiple people, I would not do like I wouldn't go brag to my friends about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go about it in an objectifying way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So so you're saying that it's wrong because it's objectification.
Yeah, that's part of why it's wrong.
So do you believe it's inherently objectification, or that just because how people will brag to friends about having sex with multiple people, that's what makes it
Good.
objectification?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both. Because you see, I'm not very smart until it comes to rationalizing what I want to do. Then, sir, I'm a stinking genius. And guess what? One of the reasons I feel so comfortable sharing that is, I think you're just like me. You and I are not Albert Einsteins. But when it comes to justifying what we want to do, we're geniuses. We can put up rationalizations that are incredible. What do I mean? I'm speaking at the University of Arizona. Guy raises a hand and says, I date rape and I think it's fine. I say, really? And why do you say date rape is fine? He says, because I have a very high testosterone level that you obviously don't have, Cliff. So that's why I date rape. The dude was serious. What a joke. What an absolute farce. I think date rape is right because I have a very high testosterone level. You've got to be kidding me. See, there's something called self-control, where you take your very high testosterone level and you say, you know something? I don't have to date rape. I can respect a woman and treat her respectfully. We live in a great culture, right? Until you begin to understand how many men have raped how many women. Until you begin to look at the statistics on date rape on university campuses in the United States. All of a sudden, it gets just a little embarrassing, doesn't it? That so many guys have chosen to date rape. That is disgusting. It is sinful. That's why we all need Christ.
Okay, I'll try and wrap this up because I imagine plenty of other people have questions.
No, I like you, sir. You're very thoughtful. I appreciate
So,
it.
you end up saying that having sex with multiple people is wrong in that it is, in many cases, objectifies women.
Right?
And you also said that it is inherently wrong. Which
Yes.
the act of doing it in the first place is wrong.
Correct.
So then I'm going to try and organize my thoughts. With that being said, it being inherently wrong, what about it? So yeah, that as an argument to say that having sex or liking someone of the same sex, that doesn't seem to be an argument for, that saying that having sex with multiple people is inherently wrong
Right.
doesn't seem to be an argument, at least to me, to proving why being gay is also wrong. Besides just being able to say that it's inherently wrong, which is my main question. I don't see what it is inherently wrong about it.
Okay. Now, this is where I was really misquoted and misunderstood from yesterday. Okay?
Hey, I got that.
Right. Obviously, me standing out here and saying having sex with as many women or as many men as you can have is wrong is because I'm convinced that there's a purpose to our sexuality. Obviously, the only way there can be a purpose to our sexuality is if we were created. If we just came about by accident, if there is no God, no intelligent mind who creates us for a purpose, then obviously right and wrong are simply perspectives, a taste. Do you like broccoli or spinach? It's a taste.
All right, so just to clarify, wait,
Yep.
you say that, but assuming religion didn't exist, right? A world that religion wasn't a thing, or Christianity and religion existed, would you believe then that being gay was correct, was okay, is okay?
Great point. If there is no God, and if it is true that morality is relative, it doesn't matter whether you have sex with 1,000 women or 1,000 men, or one woman or one man, or your golden retriever. Okay, and this is why I'm misquoted. Guys just went off the rails, not listening to me. I'm not saying having sex with your dog is the same as being homosexual. I'm not saying having sex with your dog is the same as being heterosexual. It's not the point. The point is, which you are going, which is, if there is no God, and if morality is therefore relative, then you better understand that it really doesn't matter whether your taste is for many men, many women, or your dog, or a vibrator. It's all just your taste. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. Now let me push it to another area. If there is no God, and I choose to have a racist attitude towards him, that's my taste. Nothing wrong with it. If I choose to respect him, nothing absolutely right about that. It's my taste. See, that's what moral relativism teaches. Now, guess why I am convinced that atheism is false? One main reason is because all of my moral relativist friends cannot live out their moral relativism. All of them, including you, I'm sure, fall back at times and say, you should not have treated me that way. You ought not to have spoken to me that way. And when you use the word should and ought, you're appealing to a standard, not to God. You're appealing to a standard, though, outside of us. That's more than cultural. That's a real value. The only way that standard can be a real value is if there is some type of God to create it. If it's culture that defines it, then everything's culturally relative. See, so that's one of when I doubt, and I doubt, that is often what I go back to. The incredible awareness that all human beings have. Every atheist, every agnostic, every Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Jew, we all have this innate understanding that certain things are right and other things are wrong. You can't escape it. Does that make sense?
Could you repeat that last part just one time?
All right, let me give you an example. Hopefully this will make sense. Atheist man, atheist woman, married. They both are moral relativists. Here's the problem. At some point in that marriage, one is going to look into the face of the other and say, you should not have done that to me. Not, well, from my perspective, it was wrong, but I understand that from your perspective, it's right. No. When you get hurt deeply enough by somebody, you don't say, well, it's all relative. No. You say, that was really wrong.
Oh, can I stop real quick?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Yeah, I'm going to say one more thing because we can talk.
Remember, I like you.
Okay.
The more you talk, the better.
So you're saying, yeah, in a world without religion, if God didn't exist,
If God doesn't exist,
then we're living in a world of moral relativism.
yes,
But I also don't agree with that. I feel that, like you said, you seem to say it yourself, we all have an innate idea of what is right and what is wrong. So I may be wrong. I may be interpreting what you're saying incorrectly. I say, I hate. Let's say you're black. I hate black people, right?
Yeah.
You know, terrible. You're not supposed to do that, right? But we're saying in a morally relativist society that I don't need to care. It doesn't matter what anyone says at all. Like, it doesn't matter if someone calls for like hate against other people because it's all relative to what other people are saying.
No, I'm sorry, I miscommunicated. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I obviously believe it does matter. What I'm saying is, you can't say objectively this is wrong if you're a moral relativist. You've got to say, from my perspective, it's wrong, but you obviously have a different perspective. See, why do I look into the face of a KKK guy and tell him, your racism is evil?
That's what you believe. That's your opinion. I mean, what do you mean? Oh, well, I mean, I can objectively say that it's evil.
How? How can you as an atheist say that racism is objectively, absolutely evil? How?
Because without any God or greater deity,
Right.
it is just utter disrespect to another human being.
According to who?
According to people, to society, to what we've established.
Good. And according to a lot of people, other people, racism is good. I have to debate them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Who's right and who's wrong? You see, if there is no God, there is no mind prior to the human mind that defines the value of a human being. But the only way a person can have innate value, more than just a culture saying, you know, you're valuable because you make a lot of money, or you're smart, or you've got a good career. No. If there is no God, then we create right and wrong. So I create my right and wrong. You create your right and wrong. The KKK creates its right and wrong. White South Africa creates its right and wrong. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. Why? Because it's all relative.
This is actually my final question. If I keep talking, just tell me to stop.
No, I'm not going to tell you to stop.
So you said
I like
that,
you.
Sorry, what?
I like you. It's an honor talking with you, sir. You think?
Me too.
Thank you.
You said having a deity, having God,
Yes.
come before man,
Right.
having set rules or guidelines as to what is objectively right and wrong.
Huh?
That is what defines right and wrong. Because God has set forth what is
God's character defines right and wrong.
Yes. So then, based off of that, this kind of goes back to my original question. And if I'm still misinterpreting, just tell me, and I'll leave and I'll
No, don't leave.
But because God is saying this is what is right and wrong, He is the capability to set forth guidelines, right? Before man is into existence. Then are you not just following in terms of being gay? I'm sure maybe some other things.
Sure.
That you are not just saying it is wrong because God has said so. There is no. Is there any other reason that you believe outside of Christianity that it is wrong? Because what I believe then is I mentioned this earlier. If God says being gay is wrong, and that is the only reason you believe in that as well, because God has set forth these guidelines for you to follow, He has objectively set what is right and wrong. Then I don't want to subscribe to that because I don't agree with I guess you could say discriminating against other human beings just because of what they may believe in. I believe that anybody, regardless of what they believe in, unless they're calling for hate and harm against other people, that it's okay that you believe that. It's perfectly fine. You can do, believe, say whatever you want, as long as it doesn't bring harm to others. So I said a lot of words. Then, do you believe outside of God saying that it is wrong? Is there any other reason that you believe being gay is wrong outside of God saying so?
I don't believe that being gay is wrong. The same way I don't believe that me wanting to have sex with a lot of different women is wrong. The question is, how do we handle these different desires? It's not wrong with me to have a hateful thought. The question is, what do I do with the hateful thought? Do I allow it to escalate into an imagination, then into words, then into behavior? We're all tempted.
Real quick, so are you saying being gay is an evil thought or a horrible manifestation then?
Being gay is very similar to me wanting to have sex with a lot of women, which comes very naturally to me. See, the question that you and I have to ask is, if there is a God, did He create our sexuality for a purpose? If He didn't, if there is no God, or if He didn't create our sexuality for a purpose, it really doesn't matter what we do. That's why my golden retriever line that has been so horribly twisted.
So, how you said gay is being similar to having sex with lots of women. How are they in that they're both wrong?
Me looking at pornography is wrong. Okay? Why? Because it is violating the purpose for which God gave me my sexuality.
Okay, again, so you're saying because God has said so, this is why.
Because God created us for a purpose. When we violate that purpose, we're twisting reality.
Okay, so it's because God has given us a skin of living, and doing anything against what He says, He's made the rules. The game makers would say, because if we violate His rules, then that is unfair to Him. It's not okay, just because He's the rule maker, I guess.
Okay, good.
There we go.
Evil is evil, not because God arbitrarily makes a rule. Evil is evil because God created us for a purpose, and that purpose is to love Him and to love each other. And according to Christ, having sex with anybody is a perversion of the gift of sexuality. That's why pornography for me is wrong. Because instead of being committed to my wife, I'm committed to using a woman who's got a beautiful body to get a vicarious thrill through that pornography.